Hello, everyone. Tina Hogan Grant here with my regular Cuppa A Natter that I do on Mondays twice a month. I'm an author of 8 books, and I love to bring authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, life as an author, whatever comes to mind. And tonight, Tikiri Herath is joining me tonight. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, Tina, for having me. I'm super excited for this, for having this chat. And I know you have such an adventurous background, so I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I am thrilled to have you. This is going to be a great chat. We're talking behind the scenes about adventures. Before we get into that, and before we get into your books, give us a little bit background on you, where you're joining us from, and bring us up to date.
Sure. So I'm in Vancouver, Canada, West Coast, right at the border of Washington State and British Columbia. So I have one foot in the US and one foot in Canada. I go to the US to get my gas, my groceries, all of that.
Is it cheaper?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
And it's an expensive place to live, but those of us at the border, everyone in my town has a mailbox, and the border guards know it. They just go, "You're just gonna pick up your mail, right?" They call us the milk run.
So you're not far from the Canadian border. You're like right there.
I'm right there. So if you look at Vancouver in British Columbia, I'm right at the bottom, and it's a little seaside suburb, which I love. So I was born on an island. So I think in the tropical area in Sri Lanka, it's a little tropical island. So to me, I think ocean was really important. And
Okay.
when I decided to find a home, an author home, I thought, why not a little seaside suburb at the bottom of Vancouver, one of the warmest places in Canada. It doesn't snow a lot here, so
It sounds wonderful.
it is.
Sounds
You
wonderful.
come visit.
I'm on the next plane. What time is it? Where are you at right now? What time is it?
It's 5 p.m.
So you're on the same time as me.
Are you in San Francisco?
I'm in Southern California.
Oh, okay, exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just have to sail across around the continent, and we'll be
Now, you have written a lot of books. I was looking at your bio, but before
Africa and Asia. And so I moved with them as a child, going to international schools. And at 19, 18, my parents, typical Asian parents, right? They said, everyone's going to go to university. Now, where should we send these girls to? And we had to get all A's. So they sent us, so they immigrated we were living in Zambia, so that we went to Nairobi, Kenya, and then from there came to Canada as immigrants. It wasn't the nicest. It was amazing to live around the world. I always had lots of things to see and do, but it wasn't the most pleasant family environment. So I decided I'm leaving. I'm leaving home. I'm 19. I'm in Canada. I'm in a free world. And I'm going to get out. So I just packed a bag of a suitcase with more books, Tina, than clothes. I was like, no idea. Kind of like first time in the country. And I walked out, big third world war at home. It wasn't a very pleasant place. Very, very strict Asian kind of, like if you get a B, you're excommunicated, right? You have to get, all A's. And that's in a way good because it helped me to do well, but it wasn't very pleasant. So here I am sitting. I'm telling you this long story. Here I am at the bus stop in Vancouver. And I don't know, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think this through. Where do I sleep tonight?
Oh my God!
So I went to the university district. You promised some university kids I cleaned their toilet for a bed, and I did 3 or 4 jobs. I worked hard, I bootstrapped myself, and I got a job in the government, which was really in the military. They were looking for civilians for on the risk management front. So I was like, I can do risk management. I had no idea, Tina, what that meant. So they hired me, which was pretty cool, as an intern. And from there, I went to work for the intelligence agency for Canada. We have 2, like America.
Wow.
So you have NSA, we have our equivalent. So I worked for them. I kind of grew up my young adult life. I grew up in that arena, but I was not the one to go out wearing a coat and a cape, and I was somebody who they sent to boardrooms with spreadsheets and PowerPoint slides, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's the boring part of the job. But what an amazing experience that gave me, and also looking back, remembering myself with my suitcase full of books in the corner of Vancouver on the streets. I mean, I think I did quite well for myself. I worked hard, 3, 4 jobs to put
Well,
myself
good
to
for you. My hat's off to you, girl. You're an achiever. You are.
I
You are.
think it was survival.
I do want to pause for just a few minutes before we get into how you got into being an author from this fantastic career you had. I want to say hello to a few people and bring them on board and say hi. I'm here at see, I told you I would forget your name. Tikiri Herath.
Exactly.
And we're talking to her about her books. Peggy Patterson is here. Sherry Stubel is here. B. Follow Karen Wright, Leisha Haney, they're all here to listen to you. Lori Chasko, Bambi Ratham, they're all here. If you have questions for Kirika, see, I keep
Tikiri.
Kirika. I'll get it. I love the name. It's beautiful.
Aw.
But if you have questions for her, go ahead and leave them in the comments. How did you get from working for the government, working for NATO, to becoming a best-selling author? What got you into writing?
I had so NATO was really interesting. It was probably one of the most difficult jobs I did, but my ex-husband was invited to Europe as a diplomat, and I thought, okay, so let's go to Brussels. I had a top secret clearance. I worked in the intelligence field, so we thought Brussels would be perfect because NATO's there, and I actually found a job there, and I did my MBA there as well, which was perfect. But Tina, what's interesting is when you get a little shaken up from your regular life. So I built this life where everything was stable again. I was married. We had our beautiful waterfront property. I have my convertible car. You'll pry it out of my cold dead hands kind of thing. I had all that, and then we went to Europe, which was amazing. But it really, for some strange reason, shook me up and gave me memories and ideas of my life back in Africa and Asia, growing up in these different places. And in Sri Lanka, I remember visiting this little slum where we were invited by some people. I have no idea why, but my mom telling me, you've got to, if they give you food, you've got to eat it because you have to, you can't, saying no is rude, but don't eat a lot because they don't have enough. That was I always remember that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember with Stefan, my ex-husband, we're in the Gothic cathedral in Vienna, and we're wearing ball gowns and tuxedos, and we're dancing and having caviar with the diplomats and dignitaries. I think that the it just shook me up, and I just a whirlwind of just like life experiences, like a mosaic came together. And I think, you write to make sense of the world, right? Um, and so I wrote and wrote and wrote about my experiences in Europe, because Europe is you're from Europe. It's so fascinating. The countries are close together with so many cultures, and you go from Paris to the the areas outside of Paris, and it's such a different culture, different. I mean, we were welcomed with open arms. I've never felt so. We were in Slovenia, and I remember people, because I looked a little different. They treat you like a queen. I mean, there's just one of the most amazing experiences I had. But it really. So I started writing about it, and one of my girlfriends said, "You need to put this together as a book," and I did. A very crappy book of experiences. And one of my writer friends, by then I was making friends with real writers, and one of them threw my manuscript away, like we were doing a writer circle, and he said, "There's no plot, you're not going anywhere. He was telling us scenes, put that together in a story, give me something that'll keep me up at night." And so I rewrote that story. And then when we came back to Canada, my ex-husband had a motorcycle accident. He was fine. He was fine, but Tina, to see him, this man I loved, in hospital in a coma for just like it was just 1 month, and then he was fine, but he's back into normal. But to go through that experience where you think life is invincible, we're young, we're like double income, no kids, we're having fun, we're traveling the world, and all of a sudden a motorcycle accident means like a 5 second
Changes
thing.
your life. It changes your life.
Exactly. It
Mhm.
just made me go, what do I want out of life? What do I want at, because I saw him at his almost deathbed. Thank God he's okay. But I remember him being in the coma, and then waiting, the nurse is saying he should come out, but we don't know if he'll be a paraplegic. I mean, your life just gets stripped out of you bare, right? Um, that was really hard. So I remember him recovering. He bounced back 100%.
Oh,
I,
God.
in my head though, I kept saying, what if it happened to me? What if he didn't come back? What if he was what if he lost his life altogether? I mean, these are huge, hard questions. And I told myself, what do I want to do with my life? I'm not going, I mean, I could go tomorrow. Tomorrow's never guaranteed, right? So I gotta do what I want to do. So I went, I don't know why, but I started writing about my stories of growing up in Africa. I remember being living in, my parents were in a mining town in a small town called Kalalushi. It's between Zambia and the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing gunshots. We were in a beautiful first world mining little town, very secure, and yet I could hear the gunshots. Machine gun fire meant people were dying. Like just a loud one shot meant elephants were dying. And then these men would come and knock on the mining town, like my mother's house, and they'd sell her ivory, which is so wrong. I'm vegan now. It is so wrong, but
Oh, my Lord.
all these memories and thoughts and ideas, and especially how women were treated. Because I remember going from Africa to Asia to all these places where sometimes women were covered up and they were forced to. Sometimes they were taken away from my class because they were married off. Boiled my blood. Like this is in Asia and Africa and
Right.
some cultures, which is, I don't believe that should exist in the 21st century. And I'm not a politically correct person. I will call it as it is, because these are human rights violations. And the too
Right.
many people who hide behind just words and trying to save face and look good, and to say, oh well, I'm a liberal person. No, I don't care what you are. Don't tolerate horror. Don't tolerate things that
Mm-hmm.
that subjugate the most vulnerable people on earth, which are little children and girls. So I'm sorry, I'm talking way too
No,
much.
this is fascinating. This is fascinating. Keep going. Keep
No,
going.
I just going to end it by saying the first. So I just sat there and I wrote a book about a young girl who wanted to escape those harsh times. And my thinking was, I want to take her through all the places I lived in, all the continents and countries,
Right.
take her to Europe, North America, and show how these different cultures treat women, and show how a free, open society like ours, where freedom of expression exists. Yes, we have our issues, but they're so minor, and how and just to put that out to the world. Now, I don't tell my readers, I know some of my readers are watching, I don't tell any of this to my readers. I just tell them, hey, I want to give you a thrilling story about this girl, Asha, or Tatiana, or Katie. But that's the thinking behind it, if that makes any sense.
No, I think it's wonderful. And you're a full-time author. This is your career?
I am now. But it's being an entrepreneur is always a risk. It's a huge risk. I gave up my pension. I gave up my six-figure salary. I didn't give up my car. And, my convertible is still here, my baby girl. But I said goodbye to my husband for other reasons, and we it's very sad. But we said goodbye to each other, and I moved to the West Coast. He's still in Ottawa, and I decided to find myself a little seaside condo and write books and see where it goes. 5 years later, I'm still here, Tina.
Congratulations. I'm looking at the comments and it looks like people are having issues trying to listen to us. Am I coming in clear for you? Tarika, am I coming in clear for you?
Oh, yes, you are. Sorry, I thought you were.
Well, I've noticed that a lot of people are going over to YouTube. I think for whatever reason, Facebook has stopped the streaming. And now I'm not hearing you. Your volume. You got it?
Oh, that is strange. How did that happen?
I don't know, but I'm looking at the comments and it says that you disappeared on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Don't you gotta love Facebook, right? I see Karen's on YouTube, but I don't normally see Karen on YouTube. It says Cindy's having difficulties there. It keeps stopping.
Yeah, I see that. Wow. Can you hear me, Tina?
I hear you fine and you're coming in just clear.
You
but
too.
I have a feeling we're not being seen on Facebook right now.
Oh, do we go back and out? Or
I'm thinking, I hate to do this in the middle of a interview, but I'm thinking maybe try and go back out and come back in and see if it reboots.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but
no, that's okay. Facebook is a little.
it's wonky. All right, I'm gonna go out and I'll come back in.
Okay.
Shall I end the broadcast? No, I'm not gonna end it. I should just go out, right, and come back in.
Do I hang on here or do I get out too?
I'm thinking what to do. I'm trying to see if anyone. You were there like 3 minutes. I hear you, but you aren't. Let's both go out and come back in.
Okay, I will
leave the studio and come back in.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Okay, I'm waiting for Tikiri Herath to come back on in. Raina, if you see us, let us know. Come on in. Okay. I'm on Facebook. It says I have one viewer on Facebook, so it looks like we're on Facebook now. If you can see us on Facebook, can you just give me a thumbs up? Karen, I see you on YouTube still, but I want to see if we're streaming on Facebook now. I don't know what happened with Facebook. But we'll continue on. Hopefully it'll fix itself. But I just started seeing the comments that we disappeared off Facebook. Technology gets me sometimes. It really does. Okay, Raina. I see Raina just came on. She's on Facebook.
Oh, that's good.
Let us know if you can see us, Raina. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of people switched over to YouTube. Darlene said it keeps cutting off on Facebook. I'm not sure because you're coming in loud and clear.
You too.
And me too. So I don't know. It must be a Facebook glitch, but we'll continue on. Hopefully. I hate technology. But do you have a cover of your latest book or even a book to hold up? Do you have one?
I do. So bear with me. I have it. So I don't have the book in print yet, but I will share it with you. Oh, you have to bear with me for a second here.
That's okay. It's one of those nights.
It is. Oh. Okay. So let's see.
And this is Merciless Past, correct?
Yes. So I have the. It's interesting. I have the all the other books, but I don't have my the print copy of my latest.
Merciless Past.
Yeah. But I have the ebook.
That's fine.
It's loading. I think the entire
Everyone's against this tonight.
The entire web is against us. So I don't know if you can see
There
it.
it is. I love that cover.
It's
Merciless.
in New Hampshire. So it's got the ski chalet. There's a murder. There's a wedding at the ski chalet,
Uh-huh.
and there's a murderer prowling around.
Ooh, I would like to read the description on Amazon in a few minutes because I love the description of the book. But let's talk a little bit about the book. I understand it is part of a series.
Yes,
This
it
is
is.
book number 5.
Yes, it is.
And do you think there'll be any more after this, or is this the final
Yes.
book?
No, I just finished writing book number 6, and I'm editing it right now. It's Merciless Deaths, and
Ooh.
this is really cool. I think you'll like it. It's set on the murderer. These are all murder mysteries. It's set on a floating home community, but a very luxury upscale one of a few miles from Seattle. So there is you probably heard of Lake Union in Seattle. Has floating homes, and some of them are like $3 million houses on the water. So you don't even own the land, just the structure for $3 million.
Oh my
So,
Lord.
so I thought, what if a tech tycoon's wife disappears, daughter gets killed, and there's a murderer prowling? But of course, the murderer is closer than you think. And I just finished it, so I'm having a ball. It's really, it was one of the most fun books to write.
Now, are all the same characters in each book, or is it different characters?
Yes, they are the same characters. I love to keep them in the same universe. So when I talked about my first books about being about women around the world, the first thriller books series that I wrote has 5 or 6 young women. One from the Ukraine, and she's an
Oh,
rebel soldier who fought the Russian militia, and she's amazing. I see her like the Furiosa in Mad Max. That's how I see her in my head, like a real strong woman who. And then I have a young Indian girl, a Chinese, Vietnamese girl, pardon me, and Canadian, redheaded Irish Canadian, and like you, you're redheaded.
yes,
So,
Irish too.
are you really? Oh wow!
My dad's Irish and my grandfather's Irish. I was brought up in
Oh,
England. Dad lived in Ireland after my parents split up, and Ireland is. You've been to Ireland?
I am so embarrassed to say no.
You have
It's
to go.
on my bucket list.
You're a traveler. You have to go. It's
And
beautiful.
especially as an author, right? I mean, the Irish authors are like some of the top
Yeah.
in the world. Wow.
Also
Oh,
met the Ireland. I mean, his father was Irish, and he's laid to rest in Ireland. After my parents divorced, when they lived in England, he moved to Ireland because he was an author, and that's where he wanted to write. And he bought a farm in
wow.
Ireland, and that's where he spent the last 10 years of his life. And he was a science fiction writer. But he
Oh,
owned
really?
a farmhouse in Ireland. That's where he wanted to write.
Wow. And then you become an author yourself.
And it was after he passed. I've always loved to write and read.
Yeah.
But after he passed suddenly, and then a year later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh,
I
wow.
told myself, if I'm going to write a book, I need to knuckle down, because we were talking about it earlier that we think we're invincible, but something wakes us up. Your husband's motorcycle accident. It's like, okay, I'm going to knuckle down and do this.
Wow.
So, it does take something to, follow our dreams and pursue them and actually do them.
Yeah, shake you up. Well, good on you for surviving and for, sorry, I shouldn't say surviving, thriving through that. And look at you now. That's pretty amazing.
No, it does take something. It really does.
Yeah.
I totally got off track. We were talking
Oh,
about,
that was important. That's always, it's lovely to know your background as well.
yeah. But back to your books, your characters.
Yes.
The Are they based on people that you know, like loosely or a lot? If so, do the people know the characters based on them?
You know the answer to this, Tina. I think we all, it's an amalgamation of everyone. Like, I'm looking at you and now I know you're Irish and you're right at it. I'm thinking, oh my God, Katie can have a big sister now. And I know what she looks like. I think that's how I do it. You see someone, and and you just get an amalgamation of all these different people. The bad guys are very easy because I have a Vlad in one of my books whom Tatiana, my Ukrainian girl, beats him to a pulp. And of course, he's based on another Vlad, but that we all know about. I think it's an amalgamation, and but it's funny how the bad guys, even in the bureaucracy where I worked, it's an office environment, and people are just civilized, but you see a few people, and I wonder sometimes if we were under the Nazi regime, would these be the people who would be on the other side?
Oh.
We're all human. We all have our dark and light side.
Mhm.
And I think it depends on how far we go. And even in the top echelons of society, I've sat across, people with business suits, and I'm there, we're talking important national security stuff. And you sit there and you wonder, and it's not about the national security stuff, but it's how they treat you as a human being.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it's easy then for me to pull a bit of that piece into a character. I'd never tell who it is.
Do you have a favorite character from your
I
book?
do. I do. So Madame Bouchard, she's Canadian,
Okay.
and I envisioned in my book a woman, an older woman, because I think older women don't get to become stars in books. If you look at movies and books, it's always a younger, cute, you know, little woman that, and I was getting tired of it, and I thought, what if I make her a matriarch who controls a lot of things, and in my head, she was really tall, skinny,
Mhm.
Caucasian, tall, white woman with white hair because she's in her 70s, but she's so beautiful. She's like a septuagenarian model who, when she walks into the room, everybody stops. She wears white Chanel pantsuits, and she has a white. I'm telling you this for a reason. And white pearls,
Okay.
and what's in so I wrote her into one of my books, and she works behind the scenes, and nobody knows. I shouldn't be saying this, I guess, until the sixth book in that series. There's a little twist, and people go, "Whoa, it's Madame Bouchard." But so I've written the first couple of books for this series, and I was at the National Arts Center in Ottawa, and I think I was waiting for a friend. We were at a play or a musical, and I was waiting for a friend near the bathroom,
Mhm.
and a woman walks by, Tina. I have goosebumps thinking about this. A tall woman with gray hair swirled up in a white Chanel suit with a nose up, like you can't, nobody touches me look. And she just sails by. My heart drops. I still, like, I was so shocked. I don't, you can't say anything. Yeah, of course.
Right, right, right. Yeah, right.
But yeah, I love her to bits. Like Tetiana, my Ukrainian soldier, badass woman. I don't know. These are women that aren't conventional, and they're very strong, and they beat the odds. They have had harsh lives, and yet they overcome it all, and they stand up. And I want them to be a role models, like my little Laotian computer security expert. The last person you'd think would be a computer security expert, but she can hack into banks, and she steals money and from the bad guys. Like steals
She's
money.
badass.
Yeah, she's badass. So I don't know. I think I get goosebumps when I think of Madame Bouchard's story. Like, I still don't know who she was, but it's in Ottawa. It's a very diplomatic community, and
Mhm.
maybe it was a Russian ambassador's
Now, which
wife.
book is that again? Which did you say the book? What was which book is that
It's
one?
it's in the all in the entire series, the
Okay,
Red Field
okay.
Rebels.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that one. Check her out.
I
Um, how many books have you written?
I have 12 novels, and I have 4 nonfiction books, and I have a novella and a whole bunch of short stories. So about 15 or something.
Congratulations. Before I want to talk about your nonfiction ones, but before we get on to that, I want to read the description on Amazon for the latest book, um, Merciless Past. And this came out when?
Uh, 3 weeks ago,
Wow.
4 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I should know this. I apologize. That's
I should
terrible.
have checked too.
Oh, my goodness, it was February the 10th. So it was almost a month ago,
Oh,
more than a month
you
ago.
go by fast.
Yeah, it
It
did.
goes by really fast. All right, let me read the description for Merciless Past. It came out about a month ago. It's book 5. What's the name of the series? I'm sorry.
Merciless Murder
What's
Mysteries.
the name of the series? The entire.
Yeah, Merciless Murder series.
Okay. All right, here we go. A white winter wedding, red blood on her veil. Evil is closer than she thinks. Private investigator Asher Cade gets a surprise invitation from an old friend in New Hampshire. Victoria has found true love. Aisha can't wait to see her again and meet the groom she's been gushing about, a man Victoria's known for only 6 months. But as a trafficked survivor, Aisha knows to trust her instincts. The minute she arrives at the private ski chalet where the wedding will take place, she realizes something is wrong. Something is wrong with this place. Something is wrong with Victoria. When Aisha discovers the first body, she knows she has stumbled on a dark family secret worth killing for. Who is the killer? Oh, sorry. Who is the killer seated among the wedding guests? Who will they go after next? Ooh, intriguing. Did you write that?
Yes, I did.
You wrote the description too?
I did. I had no idea how it was going to sound. But
Really
you make it sound really good.
It's very captivating. I love the opening 2 lines. Brilliant.
Oh,
I love the opening. Do you write every day? I mean, you've written so many books in such a short time. You must write every day.
Monday to Friday. I have a very strict schedule. I think
Schedule. I haven't heard that in a long time.
Pardon me?
We say schedule in England.
Oh, how do you say it?
In America, it's schedule. But you just said schedule like the English.
I went to British schools. I went to.
I haven't heard that. I had to stop you right there.
Well, you still have a very beautiful accent.
I don't hear it. I've been here 30 years, but
no, I can hear it. I can hear the Irish undertones there. Do people ever comment on it, or?
Most of it, yeah. Well, yeah. They ask me where I'm from, and I say England. But when my sister comes here, she comes here from England, and she's got a thick accent, and I have a hard time understanding her. I used to talk like that, because I don't hear it. The only time I hear it is if I'm like replaying this video or replaying a message or a tape. That's when I hear my accent. But when I'm talking, I don't hear it at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But you mentioned you've written some nonfiction books. I just want to talk briefly on those. Are these the Rebel Diva books?
Yes, they are.
The title alone is what got me, and I've written down here in my notes, Rebel Diva books, ?
Well, you are one of them. I think, well, you come across as a rebel diva.
I just love that quote or that, the description. So give me a little insight on these Rebel Diva books.
Sure. I was, when I did my transition from corporate to authorship, it was difficult. It was hard. I was also going through a divorce. And I also decided to move across the country and find a new home. And so I just made it. I don't have kids, thank goodness. Otherwise, I don't know how you would do that.
That was it.
Yeah. I did all these changes and it was really hard. So I wrote these books really for myself. It's to say, how do you make life transitions? And then also looking back at how I started on the streets with a suitcase full of books and then bootstrap myself. Like, how did I make those pivots and those changes? And how do you make lemonade margaritas when you get handed lemons? Kind of brought it all together. And I started on Christmas Eve one year. And then within 3 months, I wrote the first 3 drafts. I just think they were inside of me and wanted to get it out as a way to show myself my own path from my last life to my new life. So I kind of wrote it to myself. I wish I could say, oh, I wrote it to empower women around the world, but that would be bullshit, if you'd pardon my language.
I totally agree with you 100%. I think it's great. And I think, like you said, it's not empowerment to women, but it just shows that the strength that women have. I mean, that we can't be put out much to it. Is that kind of the message you're trying to give the books, not just for you, like you said, you wrote them for yourself, but to other women that we are capable of doing, pretty much anything we want to do. I mean, for example, you come across, looking at your bio again, as a daredevil and badass. Just to name a few, you've rock climbed, you have bungee jumped, you have ridden cross country on the back of a motorcycle,
Yes.
you have flown in an acrobatic airplane
Yes.
upside
Yes. I
down,
love
and you have parachuted solo.
Yeah.
Just to name a few. Are these some of the things you talk about in Rebel Diva books?
No, I don't refer to them particularly, but you make a really good point. You said earlier, I think you hit the nail on the head, is to show myself that we can do whatever we want. I think the main message is we all have power. Stand in your power. And I think, having traveled around the world, we in this part of the world, we have so much more power than is given to so many of our sisters. And I feel with my heart and soul really terrible for those in cultures. Look at Afghanistan. I mean, this is horrific how women are treated as chattel. As
Right.
I'm sure camels are treated better than women in some places. I've seen it. And I say that loudly because too many people are too afraid to speak about such things. And I'm getting tired of that kind of whitewashing and being so politically correct. And let's not talk about it, those cultures. No, let's talk about it, for goodness sake.
You.
Yeah.
Why hide it?
Why hide it? Yes, female genital mutilation, child brides. It happens today. I'm not scared to talk about it. But why am I telling you this? Oh yes, to say that, yeah, we can stand in our own power and to never give our power away.
I truly 100% agree with you. You're my kind of girl. High five.
High five.
Looking at this list, come across as like you like a challenge, and I'm sure you like a dare. Like if someone dared you to do something, you're not the kind of person that will not do it, right? Am I correct?
Most of the time, yeah.
Is there anything that you won't do when it comes to a challenge of not necessarily rock climb, like sports, anything, the achievements, but something that like me, I'll never jump out of an airplane.
Oh, really? Oh my God, you
I would have, but I'm not sure if I could do it now.
You rode a motorcycle, did you say?
My husband rides a motorcycle, yeah. We ride quads. I was a commercial fisherman for 10 years.
Yes.
I love kayaking.
Wow.
But I taught 25 years ago that I would love to parachute out of an airplane, but I never did. Now, at 58 years old, I'm not sure if I would do it. I don't know.
You are young. You have so much more life to live. And I jumped alone, which is really hard because you have to get out of the plane and you have to hang on to the wings and then you have to let go. So all of that is like just, the intestinal fortitude you have to just pull out. But if you jump as in tandem, which they do now,
right,
you should be able to do it and still get a thrill. So don't count yourself out. 58, please, Tina. You are young.
How old were you when you did it? Can I ask how old you were when you did it?
I was 20 something.
See?
But I would go again.
You would go again.
I think I'll go tandem because there's a height limit. I mean, pardon me, so I jumped at 3,000 feet, I think it was. For tandem, you can go at 10, like it's much higher.
So 3,000 feet, how fast were you going out of the plane and how long did it take you to touch the ground?
I don't remember.
I mean, it's a while back.
But I remember it very well, but I don't remember the actual all I remember was you jump out of the plane and what happens is your parachute's not open, right? And you're alone, you're just free falling. However fast you fall, and because of gravity, you fall and you're supposed to count. So I counted like 5 1,000, 4 1,000, 3 1,000 until I hit 0. And that's when the parachute is supposed to open. And if it doesn't, you pull your reserve parachute. So that's the way you're supposed to do it. So all I remember was the free falling. When you free fall, it's like a hurricane in your ears. You just have like it's just like a buzz all over the place. And then you hit 1,000 and then my parachute thankfully opened. So it just, you hear a ruffle of cloth and plastic above you. I looked up and it was like a flower. I had a pink parachute, and the guys were joking that if I die, they'll know I'm a girl to
Oh,
pronounce this.
Lord.
Yeah, I know. But I had this beautiful pink parachute and I saw it open, and then what happens is dead silence. Like that's like you have hurricane force winds, and then just like that you hit 1000, dead silence, and then it's like flying like a bird. And then I giggled myself all the way to the to
I
the
don't know what I probably scream all the way down. I don't know.
no,
But
after that.
my husband talks about it too, but we're like, no, we're not going to do it now. But you never say never, right?
Exactly.
Never, never. And you've also bungee jumped, which is another thing
Yes,
I said no to.
yes.
Is there
I
something you want to do that you haven't done yet? Something that's up there that you really want to do?
Well, I want to go tandem parachuting with someone at a higher elevation. I think I'd like to climb. Like I climbed Mount Washington, which is nothing. I mean that's like a really long hike up and down. It is in the eastern seaboard
My
in the
son was
U.S.
born in Washington. He was born in Edmond. My son was.
Oh, really?
He was born in Edmond,
Oh,
Washington.
wow. I
And
didn't know.
about 6 months. Then came back to California. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's his
We
birthplace.
both been around.
It's beautiful. It's
It is.
beautiful.
But okay, you want a tandem parachute higher elevations. Anything else you can think of that?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I want to go back to my childhood home, climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and I'd love to go to the Amazonian River and see,
Oh yeah.
that would be amazing just to walk in. And I think those are my biggies. I was thinking Elon Musk was asking for volunteers for his Mars trip. You have to be fit and all, have to beat a whole bunch of stuff. But he said it's a one-way trip. So I did spend one night wondering. And then I said, no. So you asked me what I wouldn't do. I don't know. I like planet Earth. I think we have so much to do here. We have
Mhm.
beautiful things, beautiful people, beautiful with the ugly and the bad and the nasty. There's always just the most amazing beauty, and you probably have seen a lot of that. And I think we have such a beautiful place here on planet Earth, and I wish we would spend more time trying to figure out how to bring this place into a better place than trying to run off to Mars.
I know. Fix it, right? Um, so you must be working. You say there's another book coming for this series. You're currently working on that one?
Yes, it's almost. It's got another month to go, and it should be out in May.
This year?
Yes.
Oh, you're
Yes.
on a roll because you just came out in February. You're going to have another one come out in May. How does it normally take you to write the book, each book?
I have. I've planned it out. I've got 3 weeks to write my first draft, 3 weeks to edit it, and then 2 weeks to do a final read through and make sure it's beautiful. Send it to my beta readers for 2 weeks. Get it back. Send it to my copywriter. Pardon me, my professional copy editor, and then to my proofreader. So the whole thing takes about 3 months from end to end.
Amazing. That's really fast.
I do take a week to plot. So that's where all the mind, the imagination, the plotting. I just walk around I live right next to the beach, so I just kind of walk up and down, talking to myself like a mad woman, I guess. And then I plot the story. That's where all the storyboarding happens. Then I come and write it out into like a template. I have character Bible and all of that stuff. And then the rest of the writing and editing piece is really putting that idea into implementation. It's like I used to manage large scale I used to manage like multi-million dollar projects. One of them was a $900 million project to how do we secure our infrastructure, our communication security infrastructure in Canada mostly. So all I do is to apply my skills from my work into completing a project, which is such a tiny project if you think about it. Our book projects, right?
I know.
So that's kind of how I think about it. And then after that, it's just roll up your sleeves and do
Get
the
down
work.
to it. Just get down to it. But 3 weeks, that's really fast for a first draft. This is a full-size book. These aren't short stories.
Yeah, they're 80,000 words.
That's a regular size
But
book.
I dictate the first and then I edit it. So that 3 weeks. So in the morning I dictate it, 5,000 words. In the afternoon I go back and make sure the storyline doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
Makes sense. And then so by the time 3 weeks are done, I have about 80,000 words.
That's fantastic. I'm happy if I get one done in 3 months.
I don't have children. I don't have pets. I live by myself. So I think that's kind of like,
No, my hat's off to you. That's excellent. Well done. I mean, you're disciplined and you go to work. You treat it like a job, which it is. It's your career, and you sit down and you get the job done.
yeah, I don't know how else. That's how they taught it. That's how my work was.
Yeah, I mean, for authors that are starting out and they want to, be a successful author, what kind of advice would you give them? Those that
Well,
are just starting out.
I would say first read. Because if you don't read, I mean, I read all my childhood was just because we traveled so much. Books were my friends. I didn't have. It's hard to make friends when you're moving, so books were my friends, and I think that's how you internalize the story structure. So I think it's so important to read it. And the second thing is just like you said, if you're serious about writing a book, treat it like a job. Otherwise you're it's just I
A
don't know.
hobby. It's a hobby.
Yeah, even as a hobby, like if you're waiting for your muse to happen, I think it's Stephen King who said that my muse start waits for me at 9 in the morning in the basement or wherever he writes, because she's waiting for me at 9 in the morning every day, Monday to Friday. So
Wow.
yeah,
So when you've completed like the last book, you've completed it, it's published. Do you take a little break for some me time before you get right into the next book, like book 6, which you're doing now? Did you have some me time in between?
I take a week off to rest my brain,
Good
and
girl.
and then I
I'm glad to hear it.
and then I take another week to plot. The plotting is fun, so it's almost like me time because
Mhm.
it's very enjoyable. It's kind of
So before you start writing, you have the whole book plotted out from beginning, middle, and end.
I do, but it doesn't mean I won't change it while I write it. Like I've made quite a few changes to my latest book, so I
Mhm.
have a 40-page everything from premise to. I use story structure. I use Joan Truby's story structure book. This I think it was the Save the Cat. Like I've got all of them lined up, and using my project management hat, I make sure that I hit all their hero's journey components, and so by the end of that, I have like a 40-page kind of outline plus the characters and what they do. But character names change, their genders change. So as I
Sometimes the endings change, right? Do the endings ever change, or the endings pretty much stick to how?
know, that's changed a few times.
And your books are considered thrillers, mystery thrillers, murder thrillers, and that's the only genre you write, except for the nonfiction Rebel Divas.
Yes, I
It-
think my first series was mostly international because they're around the world, international mystery crime.
okay.
Um, and some people say the first couple of books are a little slow. But here's the strange thing, Tina. I wrote the first couple of books based on what my what's burning in my belly. And those two books have won like about half a dozen awards, including the Eric Hoffer.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But here's the funny part: they don't sell very well. So they got the awards there, but they're also a little slower, more introspective.
I think the more we write, we kind of find our style.
Hmm.
And maybe on your first few books, you were still finding your style, and now that this series has come out and your other books, you kind of settled in. People know your style. They know, they love your way of writing. Otherwise, they wouldn't read your books. But I think it takes us a few books to actually find our writing style. I found that for me.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
I
Yeah.
found that for me. And I think with that being said, we tend to write quicker too. Than you with 3 weeks first draft.
Very true. Because you get used to. I don't know, do you have a process you use, or do you kind of let it happen? There is a beauty to that, and I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I don't plot my books at all. I tried plotting and it didn't work out. I'm one of the ones that where the characters talk to me and they take the lead, and I'll try and go in one direction and the character will go in the other direction, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not fighting. And I don't know how the book's going to end until it's ended. I have no clue.
Wow.
So that's kind of, and I tried to plot it first because I always figured that's what you're supposed to do. Sit down, plot your book. But it's not that. It's your style. It's what works for you. And when I found out that the book where I tried to plot went in totally the opposite direction, and what ended up happening was far better than what I was deciding on. So it's like, okay, I ain't going that way no more.
Wow.
Characters tell me, and it seems to work. And things happen in the book that I had no vision that it was going to happen. Like, where did that come from?
Wow.
But it's
magic.
It's fun. I enjoy doing that too. So I love that every author has a different style, a different method of writing, and they stick with it. They don't try and be what they're not, or try and be a Nora Roberts, or I want to write like Nora Roberts. No, that's Nora Roberts. That's her style. Find your own style and write your style.
Yes.
And every author, millions as there is, we all have our unique style, and we need to stick with that.
Yeah, no, that is so right. And also, I think you got to enjoy what you're doing too. So I think the day I'll stop writing is the day I stop enjoying it. But so far, I'm having a ball. I wake up in the morning and, I used to wake up in the morning for my day job and go, oh my God, it's Monday morning. I got paid very well, but, but it was.
Well, it's great that you get up, you're excited about what you want to do, and you can't wait to get to it. And that shows that you love what you do.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
And I wish I didn't write my first book until I was 54.
Oh, wow.
So and it's like, I wish I started this 20 years ago, but I was too busy enjoying fishing with my husband.
But you have
too.
You had such an adventurous lifestyle. This is why when you said you wanted to, to have this conversation, I was so excited. I was like, Tina Hogan-Grant, she's like this amazing adventurous. I think not many people have had the lifestyle you've had, or the life.
And the same for you. I mean, you're a badass diva. I mean, I have so many questions for you. I could talk to you for hours. I'm looking at the time, but I do want to put this out to you because I'm looking at these comments and I can see that Facebook has been messing with this feed. It's coming and it's going, and it's not either one of our connections because they're seeing this on YouTube. So Facebook has a glitch, and I really have been excited about this chat. I'm going to try and see if I can share this. I'm going to look at it on YouTube and see how it is. But would you be interested in coming back and doing another chat without the glitches on Facebook?
Oh,
there are so many people that have been wanting to listen to you, so many people that love your books. And I mean, I'm willing to do it later this week or next week, just not on a Monday because I have other authors. But let's talk after the video and see if we can hook up. And if you don't mind, the same questions. And I have other ones that I didn't even get to. And I'm sure there's readers that, had questions for you, but it's out of our control. But for whatever reason, we disappeared off Facebook.
I would love to, Tina. And likewise, I really enjoyed our conversation. I would love to have.
Yeah, I'd like to do this, but you did mention, you do want to do a giveaway. I'm not asking you to do a giveaway next time. I'm going to do a giveaway on my books, but I will pick a couple of winners for tonight. But I'd love it if you would come back, like maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. We'll see what your schedule's like.
Sure.
Hopefully, for whatever reason, Facebook is the glitch. I don't know. But we'll talk after the video. But there were so many people that excited for this chat. And I don't know, but Facebook kicked us off. It's like, fine. I see. But I do want to thank those that went over to YouTube. And thank you, Cherokee, for this chat. You're an amazing woman. This is just a great chat, and I have so many questions for you, but please let's hook up in the next week or so. Do this again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And likewise, I enjoyed this chat. I'll be
Yes.
happy to. And I talk a lot, so I just have to remind myself not to go on forever.
Yeah, we'll do this again. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna look at the feed on YouTube and see how it is on there. But Karen's on there. I don't know what happened, but Facebook, for whatever reason, was not streaming this from StreamYard.
Oh.
Technology, it's just driving me nuts sometimes. Stay on the line for a few minutes. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Sorry for the glitches, but we are going to come back and do this again. Hopefully Facebook behaves. Do you have any last words before I sign off?
No, I want to say thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone for coming. I can see Karen, I can see this Donna, this Diane, and Lisha. I'm probably
Lisha Amy. Lisha.
And yeah, I don't want to. Bambi and Sherry and Chinda. Oh gosh, thank you for coming, and hopefully you got to hear some of it. And looking forward to doing a giveaway, Tina, whenever next time we.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. We will talk to you soon. Bye.